final score, Norwich City 2, Wrexham 3. I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC. Did you enjoy that? I enjoyed that. That was quality, wasn't it? And an amusing message to all the vultures who try to get cheap clicks by claiming that somehow Phil Parkinson wasn't going to be keeping his job for much longer. Yeah, you don't get performances like that out of a team when you're on your last legs. I'm sorry, guys, you're going to have to look somewhere else. Oh, my word, though. My word. What a superb performance. I mean, let's not forget, we are having to assimilate a lot of new players into the system. We have had injuries and, 3 debuts in this match and a first start. This is as close as we've been able to do so far this season to what Parkinson will see as his strongest team. And you could see just how they were performing. People who are looking over their shoulders concerned about the bottom end of the table. Well, a team that can play like that really shouldn't have those sorts of concerns, should it? Because this was a terrific performance. And, okay, give it some context. Norwich have a 0% record at home this season. Their fans turned. Wow, did they turn. But, their performances haven't been as bad as that. They've got good away record. And they got some very fine players. And feels like a bit of a statement win, doesn't it? To go to a club who are constantly between the Premier League and the Championship, which is certainly a step up from where we've ever been, and perform like that. Sustaining that, of course, is crucial, but goodness me, that was quite something, wasn't it? So we start out with a box midfield, and behind Kiefer Moore, Josh Windass back from injury, and Lewis O'Brien. And it worked beautifully. Ben Sheaf starting alongside George Dobson in the anchor role. They gave stability and strength. Kabore on the right wing was pretty spectacular. Dom Hyam as well in the heart of our defence, making another debut. Terrific. And we just looked very, very good from the start. First opportunity, Windass, who's drifting around all over the pitch, taking advantage of the freedom of his role, whipping in a ball from the right-hand side from deep. Moore attacking it at the far post, just can't reach it. And this will be a pattern of the game of Moore nearly getting on the end of stuff. The Norwich fans enjoyed trying to bait him because of his Ipswich connections. They weren't enjoying him by the end of the match, I can assure you. But he a few times he just wasn't quite able to reach a ball across the face as we constantly got down that right-hand side and caused issues. Next opportunity comes with a really good press. And I've got to say, our pressing was so ferocious, organised and on point. Norwich looking to pass the way out from the back, lost the ball multiple times in their own half. It was remarkable. And on this occasion, the ball is played to Topic, who's facing his own goal in the middle of the pitch. Dobson just gives him the bum's rush, charges up from behind, nicks the ball from him, and he's running in to hit a shot from the edge of the area, right down the middle. Topic sticks an arm out and handles it. I'm going to argue, why is there not a card for this? This is it's a clear shooting opportunity, if not a clear goal-scoring opportunity. I'd argue yellow. But Dobson's got a good chance of scoring there. Ref doesn't give any cards because it's 13th minute, and for some reason that's what they do. And then from the free kick, O'Brien dinks it over the wall, aims it for the top right corner, and it's a super save, and not the last one by Vladan Kovacevic, who was a very highly rated goalkeeper. And watching him in that game, that guy's going to be in the Premier League soon. I think he's moved to Norwich one way or another, whether with Norwich or through catching the eye. Norwich are seen as a stepping stone to the Premier League, and he would be in the Premier League, I strongly suspect, looking at his frame and agility, and he kept the score down. Wrexham kept pushing. There was another opportunity, such a near miss, 20th minute, a short corner is fed by Sheaf to Windass, and he drills a great shot from the edge of the area, which whistles through the crowded goal mouth, hits the left post and flies away before anybody can react. And at this point, Wrexham really looking in good control. But Norwich are looking sharp on the break. I mean, obviously, they've got a quality bit like Sargent up front. They got the pace of Diallo on the flanks to try and carry the ball forwards, and some nice technical passing players in the middle of the pitch. And they start to have a threat. There's a nice move which ends with Sargent picking the ball up in the deep and trying to drive at the Wrexham defence left to right. Doyle does ever so well to stick with him. Hyam does ever so well to track around the back of Doyle as well. And when Sargent, who's being forced wider and wider, realises he's got to get a shot off now or there won't be a shot, drills it with power, and Hyam has got around and makes a very, very good block. Then there's real danger when, and this is a precursor to the goal, the ball played on the right-hand side. We allow Jurasek a bit too much space, and he drives down that right-hand side really well and carries it into the box. He's in on goal. It's a tightish angle, but it's a good shooting angle. Drills it hard and low. Excellent save by Okonkwo. Good strong left wrist, gets down to it and parries, grabs it. And within moments, we are threatening at the other end of it. A huge moment. It's firstly, again, good pressure. We set the trap and then Windass and Sheaf step in and win the ball from Topic. They feed it on to O'Brien and he slides in Kiefer Moore. It's a real borderline offside. Looks offside to me, I've got to say. But he's one-on-one and well clear of the last defender. Now, of course, although he's much more mobile than I realised, having watched him up close, consistently, he's not a sprinter. And so he gets in the box one-on-one. Keepers come out. Darling is starting to catch up, the centre-back. Kiefer Moore decides, I'm going to cut in on my right foot to improve my angle here. And he does that very nicely. He cuts inside and beats Darling. But he slips as he's doing so. And as a result, he can't get the shot off properly. Plus, Kovacevic is very quick to get across and smother. And so Moore's shot cannons off Kovacevic's body. His studs then clatter into Kovacevic's body. And the keeper needs treatment. But a big, big chance. And that slip probably saving Norwich. Although, yeah, could be the boots that are to blame. Moore came across and changed his boots instantly. Of course, maybe you would do that anyway if you miss a chance because you slipped, whether you needed to change or not. But Wrexham, yeah, continuing to look good. So something of a disappointment when we go behind. It's not long after an interesting little incident in the box. Longman on the left, Wrexham breaking again with players over at the far post. Moore goes down off the ball, claiming a penalty. Now, I must say that Dave Webb, the very experienced referee, did not like Kiefer Moore. I mean, he looked to be trying to keep the game flowing. And for about 80 minutes, I was praising the ref over this, saying, yeah, he's consistent. The end of the game, it started to get a bit inconsistent, and at one point Moore had his Achilles hacked off from behind and the ref just carried on playing. And then Norwich's second goal comes from what looked to me like a clear foul. But anyway, I'll get to those later. On this occasion, yeah, he's not given it, and off the ball I'm sort of thinking, yeah, it's going to be nothing. When you look at the replay, well, the best I can say about what Juan Cordoba does is it's really stupid. And I think if the officials properly see it, they give a penalty. It's unnecessary. Moore peels off, like I said, Wrexham got two players over at the far post. Moore peels away into that space to beat the second player. Cordoba looks over his shoulder, sees that he's there, and it's his responsibility. He comes across. Now, if he's just going to go across, block him off with his body and knock him over, no official's going to give a penalty, are they? I mean, it's a bit cynical, but it's also solid defending. No. He comes across and he waves his arm across Moore's face. Reminiscent for old codgers like me. If you remember Dave Bayliss, who Dennis Smith signed, getting the most crazy red card against Bury, where we had a corner, Bury tried to break away, and on the edge of their area, one of their players picks her up and is running forwards. We are caught out. This is a really good breakaway position. But Bayliss is coming across and you think, yeah, this is a classic situation. Take a yellow card for the team. Foul him on the edge of the box. Just trip him up. You're going to get booked. You know you're going to get booked. But if this progresses, it could become very serious. But instead, he comes across and he forearm smashed him across the face. Well, it stopped him. I'll grant you that, but it's a red card. Well, this one was daft. I mean, why did that rather than just use his body? But he swings his arm into Moore's face. I mean, I'm trying to wear my unbiased, reasonable players go down easily hat, but to do that, you are asking the referee to at least give a penalty. It was an odd one. So Moore a bit unlucky. But Moore was getting nothing off this guy. I'm telling you. I'm absolutely telling you. Within moments, there's a precursor again to Norwich's goal because they have a moment of promise. This time it's Diallo driving forwards into the box, picking it up. He's one-on-one with the keeper. Medic has played a great ball over the top. Diallo's touch that takes him across goal, though, so he's on the right channel. Conco's done well. He's really quick to come out and close down the space and forcing Diallo to keep going wide. And when he has to pass rather than shoot, he pulls it in the goal mouth. Of course, Conco's not there because he's been forcing Diallo wide. Hyam with a brilliant interception. But it's a stay of execution because 3 minutes later we are behind. And like I said, that Jurasek goal was a sort of warning for us because a chance rather, because this is very similar. Ball down the right-hand side. Doyle is outpaced by Stacey picking up the pass from Topic. And he finishes it really well because Okonkwo gets out quickly, makes himself big. Stacey just slots it under his hands and yeah, good finish by Stacey. Is it offside? At the time I thought yes. I've tried to be quite forensic with this because actually the replay on the stream stops on the wrong frame. So it makes it look onside, but there's another frame to go. So I have managed to stop it on the correct frame. Yeah, I think he is onside. Certainly I'm not complaining. I was at the time, but having looked at it, yeah, fair enough. It's in old money, he's level. You know, I know VAR now asks you to look at things to the last millimetre. And I suspect with VAR in action, that could have been disallowed. But that's one of the big faults of VAR, isn't it? It reduces too close to call decisions into millimetres when that's not how the game's played. So no, linesman's quite right to keep his flag down. And Stacey takes the chance well. We look shocked for a couple of minutes. We have been a better side and we've been caught out. But we recover and have a couple of chances in 5 minutes of added time. Firstly, it's opportunity when Kabore picks her up on the right-hand side after Sheaf had done really well to win the ball back with the tackle. Kabore cutting in, tight angle, decides to have a shot on his left foot. He's about 10 yards out on the right side of the box. Doesn't get quite enough curl on it, and it goes wide of the far post. Then a couple of minutes later, it's again him involved. Windass doing well to feed him down the right. He's bursting down the flank. Moore is in the middle and marks. Kabore squares it. Again, Moore can't quite reach it. So 1-0 down at half-time, but the feelings are positive, and justifiably so, because 63 seconds into the second half, we will be level. First, though, there's a change because Callum Doyle is brought off. He's been beaten around the outside for pace. He's had a good game, I thought. His passing was exemplary. But yeah, they got the goal down that side of the pitch. It caused problems, and also he'd just picked up a yellow card. So I think all those things added together meant that Lewis Brunt came on. He did very well. And like I said, we're equal very, very quickly. A goal which owes a lot to Ben Sheaf being excellent. He plays the pass of the century, gets the ball in his own half and just threads this ludicrous pass, which at the time I thought, oh my gosh, look at that. And sometimes you look at the footage and it doesn't quite do it justice. But when you look at the video, it's even better. He strikes it beautifully. It nearly gets intercepted by two Norwich players. The precision has to be perfect. The weight has to be perfect. And it is. So much so that not only does he send Kabore clear down the right-hand side and completely split Norwich open with one beautiful bars, but it also invites Kabore to hit it in first time because the weight is so good on it. And he does. And he bangs it in perfectly. And then Windass, again. You know, you've got to look at Chief's pass and say that's class. You've got to look at the quality of Kabore's ball in and say, perfect. Windass, first time, bang. On the bounce, drills it past the keeper before he can really set himself. You've got to have good technique to strike a ball like that. His second goal, of course, will get more attention. But wow, what a great hit by Windass. And Wrexham are deservedly level, and we now start to pile it on. 5 minutes later, a terrific save again by Kovacevic, keeping them in the game. Windass again doing well, sliding O'Brien in one-on-one, and he does nothing wrong. He carries it forwards, drills it to the right of the keeper. Tremendous big left hand. He's made himself big, but then it's not just a case of making yourself big and the shot hits your outstretched hand. It's going over his hand, and it's a brilliant strong wrist to raise his hand up and push it away. Absolutely top level save. But we are pummeling them now. We are absolutely on top. The Norwich crowds, like I said, they haven't seen any success at home this season so far. And in the first half, when it was 0-0, there were a couple of moments where it felt a bit restless. I wouldn't want to go further than that, but just a little hint in the air of they wanted better. When, all three of our goals go in, the immediate sound is Wrexham celebrating and Norwich booing loudly and angrily. And they are now getting very concerned. It's level, but we are dominating them. And we open things up again because, Sheaf is allowed space in the middle of the pitch. And he plays another beautiful ball down the right-hand side, this time inside the left-back. Kabore again, surging away down the right-hand side, takes a touch inside, pulls it back nicely. And Longman, arriving at the far post, does the right thing. Good right-footed strike first time. It's quite close to Kovacevic, lower than his left. But importantly, there's three bodies in the way. Kovacevic has no chance of seeing it till it's about 3 yards out from goal. He's got, to save that would be an equal save to the O'Brien one. It would have been brilliant. And so, Longman, great work. Second goal for Wrexham, both in away games, both in big away games. Blackpool, remember last time. Great work by him. No, it wasn't. It was Lincoln. Anyway, who cares? The facts are inaccurate. The idea is correct. Good strike by him, and Wrexham are ahead, and deservedly so. We keep pushing on to kill the game off. Another good save. This time Kabore finding O'Brien, who strikes the ball well from the edge of the box on his left foot. It's going inside the left post. Kovacevic gets down well to save it and push it behind for the corner. Again, he's got a big frame and he can stretch and reach things like that. But again, it's only a temporary reprieve because Windass sweeps the corner in. Nothing comes of it, but Cleworth retrieves it at the far post, puts it back into the box. He overhits it, but it comes through to Windass, and Windass carries it to the corner of the box, engages with his man, sidesteps past him, and then just hits the sweetest of curlers inside the far right post. And I've got to say, the quality of all these finishes, like I said, a goalkeeper of Kovacevic's quality, can't do a thing about it. He's full stretch, but he can't reach it. It's perfect. Wrexham are 3-1 up after an hour, delirious and in complete control. Norwich really don't show much until the last 10 minutes. They do have a free kick into the box, which Topic tries a hopeful overhead kick, but can't control it properly. Wrexham brings Sheaf off after 66 minutes. This is his first start since the playoffs last season. He hasn't got 90 minutes in his legs yet, but my word, what a performance. Matty James comes on to replace him. And we continue to threaten Windass with a glorious reverse pass to, again, I'm going to get repetitive strain injury from saying this, send Kabore racing away down the right-hand side. He drills it into the goal mouth. Good ball in. Kovacevic does really well to lunge and get a hand to it and push it away, with Moore attacking the far post, waiting for it to come through for him to have an open goal to head the ball into. It's the thing, Moore's scoring run ends, but on another day he could have had 4 or 5. Only one missed chance by him, which is down to his slipping rather than poor finishing. But the number of times he nearly got on the end of stuff, he's making the right runs over and over and over and getting into those positions. He looked full of goals without actually getting many shots off, if you see what I mean. We then bring George Thomason on for his debut in midfield, replacing Windass. So, of course, again, we are watching carefully because he's coming back from injury. And we look to be in comfortable control. Norwich get into the game a little bit more, but they're being kept at arm's length. There's only one real opportunity, if you will. They make changes. Schwarzau comes on, and he's really good on the left-hand side, and he's the first one to really have a go at Kabore, and he beats him on one occasion. And sweeps in across McCarthy at the far post, just can't get on top of his header and puts it over the bar. He's a sub as well. He will have a role to play in a moment. We make a change. We bring off Kabore, who again has played for Burkina Faso in the international break but hasn't played club football this season, so we need a break too. James McLean comes on and we switch Longman and McLean. And out of the blue, in the second minute of added time, Norwich grab a goal. Now, this is the refereeing decision I was talking about. It looked to me like a foul. Thomason does well to ride a tackle and is carrying the ball away. Challenge comes in on him by Gibbs, another of the subs. Looks like a clear foul to me, I've got to say. Ref plays on. Gibbs does really well. Turns, drives to the edge of the box, hits a good, sharp, low shot. Okonkwo goes down to his left but can't hold on to it. He pushes it out, straight out into the goal mouth. And it's Makama who gets there first and does well to finish. Judging by his body language after it goes in and by his really annoyed demeanour at the final whistle when he really looked angry with himself. I'm assuming that Okonkwo was blaming himself. And yeah, of course, he'd rather push the ball out to the sides. But he's also entitled to hope that a centre-back is going to get in there and get there first. So let's not be too harsh just on Okonkwo. And this suddenly sets up some drama. Not least because, again, and this is my second part of my refereeing rant, if you heard the hot take, you'll have heard me raging about this. He's added 5 minutes on. I totally accept that that's a minimum, and it's the time added on is down to him. No argument with that. I don't like it when fans start whistling and moaning when the ref's allowed to do this, but that is an estimate on his part of what he should add on. Hyam is injured as he lunges in to try and challenge McCarthy. He needs treatment. Now, at the time, and I've double-checked this with the video afterwards just to make sure I'm not conning myself, I looked at my watch. The goal has gone in 1.5 minutes into the 5. Hyam is treated. Game restarts 2.5 minutes into the 5. Now, I wasn't a maths teacher. I'm Alan Partridge. But 5 plus 1 minute is 6 minutes, yeah? So add on a minute, mate, obviously. He adds on 3. And Norwich are really piling it on. For the first time, we're battling to survive. Now, they don't make any chances, although there was one dangerous moment when Schwartau puts the ball into the far post and they get a player goal side of McLean, but he knocks it back in the goal mouth, no real danger. And we do win it, but I can't deny I was absolutely fuming at the fact that the ref suddenly thought, stick another 2 minutes on, what the heck. Maybe he just loves the recipes of Delia Smith. Who knows? But anyway, for whatever reason he did it, we survived it and we deserved to. That was a very one-sided game. The scoreline doesn't reflect how it went at all, and a fantastic result. And like I said at the start, all those clickbait warriors, I hope you enjoyed last week, because that was reality kicking in there. This is a decent Wrexham side with potential, and hopefully they can bed in and just make more of this sort of momentum now. Great stuff. With a final score of Norwich 2, Wrexham 3, I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.